Alright, welcome back to another video on my investment portfolio channel. I'm going to be talking about my top winners and top losers this week, trying to figure out what caused them to move in the direction they did. I'll also be talking about what I've been doing in the market recently in regards to this pullback that we've experienced, but first of all, we have to go over to our pies. As you may have noticed, I have removed the auto invest feature from all my pies because I just wanted a little more freedom as to how I invested. So from now on, I'll be manually inputting money into them. Apart from this, overall, they are looking alright, bar the obvious loss I'm currently making on my dividends pie, but I can guarantee you that that will be green once again in the near future. So coming on to my top losers this week, I have Tesla, which has been in the news a lot recently, and we also have Celsius Holdings that I briefly talked about in one of my more recent videos. But let's start off with Tesla first, which has dropped roughly 8% this week. On Tuesday, I believe it was, they had their illustrious battery day that a lot of people were evidently looking forward to. Now, I'm not gonna lie, but for the most part, I had no idea what they were talking about. But what I got out from it was that their cost of production will increase significantly, whilst the range of their vehicles will increase. And along with this, they'll be bringing out a new car within the next couple of years. It'll be considerably cheaper than what they have at the moment. But yeah, I think more people came away from it impressed rather than underwhelmed or disappointed, which raises the question, why did the stock tumble? I think the fall really shows the short-term mindset that a lot of Tesla investors have. The whole idea of these reduced costs and benefits of a better performing battery, etc., will be evident in the next couple of years and not right now, which I guess rubbed people the wrong way, which is why so many people sold off. People may also be questioning the credibility of the stuff announced, because I think it's fair to say that a lot of it was revolutionary and new, and if Tesla are able to pull off at least half of what they said or what they've mentioned, then the gap between them and the competition will just be widened even further, like they'll be gone. But yeah, that was the news around Tesla this week, which brings me on to my next top loser, as I mentioned, which is Celsius Holdings, which dropped 10% this week. Not too much news around this apart from changes of some ratings by firms and whatnot. For example, a firm changed their rating from buy to hold, and some of them raised and decreased their price targets, etc. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that since there's not really any real business news around that. Moving on to my top winners this week, starting off with Teladoc. Once again, I think the main news surrounding this stock was around rating and price target changes. D.A. Davidson initiated the stock with a buy as well as a $250 price target after saying the company has benefited from the pandemic and has been growing at more than 60% organically. The inflation note also goes on to say that basically Teladoc is in a league of its own right now. With the acquisitions that it's made and the resources it has, nobody is competing with them. And as an investor in this stock, that's good news to hear, as you can imagine. Okay, so coming on to my top winners this week, we have Boohoo.com, which popped 17% this week. This stock has really been trading on news recently around the Leicester factory allegations. However, recently an independent review of the factory showed that even though there were many failings of the factory, they were unable to pinpoint any serious wrongdoings, including profiting from cheap labor, which was kind of the focal point of their whole allegation that they received. Boohoo has also decided to act on recent events by building their own factory in the city and hiring new directors. And with their financial reports being announced next week, this kind of removed a dark cloud from any unwanted news from an investor's point of view. So it's something that, you know, we're more upbeat and looking forward to now. But yeah, that many failings part of the factory is kind of worrying. I would have to go back and read the report and kind of gauge at how important that is to the company right now. But I'm sure hiring the new directors and fully reviewing where they are right now, that would hopefully provide a solution as to why those failures are happening and fix them. Right, so those were my top winners over the last 7 days, and I really just wanted to touch on what I've been doing in the market this week. We've obviously seen this correction in the market led by tech stocks that proceeded to drop the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq to percentages decreasing in and around the teens. Many analysts predicted that this was going to be the case, with some saying that it would even reach as low as 20%. But technically we have seen prices plummet under 50-day moving average, and it looks to be approaching the 200-day moving average. But will it get there? I don't know. But right now we're in oversold territory as illustrated by the stochastic and RSI, and I told myself that I would top up on my stocks that have been technically oversold on a dip, and so I did, purchasing the likes of Microsoft, J&J, PepsiCo, and many others. And I honestly think I might start doing this going forward. Instead of investing every 2 weeks as I have done over the last couple of months without really considering the price of the stock, I'll start to buy when it's technically sound to do so. And you never know, this may overall help to improve my margins. So even though we may have not seen the bottom of this drop, I'm buying because realistically nobody really knows where this is going to end. And people always say, oh, I'm going to buy in the dip, I'm going to buy when the stock reaches this price or that price, but then continue to wait and wait until they think they've caught the absolute bottom, which 9 out of 10 times they don't. So even though the next 6 weeks will be interesting to see in the short term, with the US presidential elections happening, vaccine trials still going on, maybe a second lockdown in the UK and across Europe, maybe even the US soon, and even more Brexit news, I'm a buyer of the market at this point, and as long as the market is oversold here, I'll continue to buy. We actually saw a little climb back on Friday, so who knows, we may be starting to see a bounce of these correction lows. Besides, around this time of the year, like around autumn time approaching winter, the market is usually low on average anyway, so I guess this is usually the best time of the year to get back or top up on stocks. But these are just my opinions and actions. I'm not advising anyone to follow my footsteps, and obviously do the research of your own individual portfolio. But I'm going to wrap things up there, and I'll catch you in the next video in a bit.